Everyone, welcome back to another video. Today we are looking at the AQA English Language Paper 2, Section B, Writing. So in today's video we are going to look at how to plan question 5, the timings and some top tips for Section B for Language Paper 2. So it reads, Section B, Writing. You are advised to spend 45 minutes on this section. Write in full sentences. You are reminded of the need to plan your answer. You should leave enough time to check your work at the end. So question 5, you will always have a statement. So the statement is the one here. So it begins from here and it ends here. So it reads, our addiction to cheap clothes and fast fashion means young people in poorer countries have to work in terrible conditions to make them. We must change our attitude to buying clothes now. So this is the statement, and you can decide whether you agree or if you disagree. So here you are being asked to write an article. So this is the form of text you are being asked to write. Write an article for a magazine or website in which you argue your point of view on this statement. 24 marks for content and organization, and 16 marks for technical accuracy. So it's important you know about the marks and how you are being assessed. And as mentioned before, you are advised to plan your answer to question 5 before you start to write. So the example do mention the importance of planning. Do you get marks for planning? No, but you are advised to plan because you do have writing time of 45 minutes, and it requires you to plan and structure your response. So first things first, what I wanted to go over is the timings. So in terms of your timings, since it's 45 minutes, the first 5 minutes you will use to plan. Okay, 5 minutes for your plan, followed by 35 minutes of writing, and finally 5 minutes of checking over your work. So if you add up all the sort of totals here, you got 5 plus 35 plus 5, it gives you a total of 45 minutes. So if you stick to these timings, you should be able to finish the question and have enough time at the end also to go and change anything if you wish to. And this is some generic sort of timing sort of guidelines. You may want to change it slightly, alter it, but again, this is best in terms of completing the question. So that's in terms of your timing and time management for the question. And now moving on to the actual question and how to plan. So when we look at the question, there are key words within the question that we need to underline. So it says here, our addiction. So the first word I'm going to underline here is addiction. To cheap clothes and fast fashion. Okay, so fast fashion has actually been in the news recently. So fast fashion is again, essentially, when you're producing large quantities of clothes for a low price. So you may have heard of companies such as ASOS, Boohoo, etc. So they all are examples of fast fashion corporations, because often they are producing clothes in the third world and selling it on the online market for a larger price for them to make a profit. So here what they say is that we as a society, we are obsessed with cheap clothes and fast fashion. So we are often buying from places like ASOS and Boohoo. And this means that young people in poorer countries have to work in terrible conditions to make them. We must change our attitude to buying clothes now. So you need to give your verdict, and you need to demonstrate the triple C. So the triple C stands for the following. So your answer must be compelling, convincing communication. So what we mean by compelling is that your answer must be interesting. Convincing, your answer needs to be persuasive, and of course your communication here needs to be clear and matched to the question. So this is something that you need to follow, the triple C. Every paragraph that you write, it needs to be compelling, has to be convincing, and your communication needs to be clear. So you need to think of reasons to why you agree or why you disagree. So it's up to you, like I mentioned before, whether you agree or disagree. But the examiner is not looking for the right answer, but they're looking for how you sort of convey and address your answer and how convincing you are. So in terms of the question, what I would say is to follow the following acronym. So we're going to use M, E, S, and S. So mess. So I'm going to start off with M. So M stands for money. So how does this impact people in terms of money? So if you think about fast fashion, how does it impact people in terms of money? So first of all, if you think about the local people, it allows locals to earn income. And if locals earn income, it can boost the economy and promote economic growth. Okay, so that's in terms of money. E stands for education / environment. So in terms of education and environment, how does it impact education or the environment? So if we are arguing that fast fashion is beneficial, how is it beneficial in terms of education / the environment? So there are many sort of paths you can take. In terms of education, you can say that it promotes young people to work from a young age and develop key skills for employment in the future. And in terms of S is self. So how does this impact you as a person? So fast fashion. So most certainly it will save you money. Okay, so why does it save you money? For example, many of these fast fashion companies, corporations, they are selling products, t-shirts, jumpers, hoodies, jeans for a discounted price and often cheaper than high street stores. So for example, if you are to go onto ASOS or Boohoo, you can get t-shirts for as cheap as £2-3, whereas getting that same t-shirt for example from a high street store could cost you £10-15. So often fast fashion companies are able to charge a lower price. Why is that? It's because their expenses, their running costs are lower, because often these factories are in the third world, in countries such as India, Pakistan, etc. So as consumers, it can save you money. So if you are arguing that fast fashion is beneficial, for sure it can save you money. And the last one is society. So how does it impact society? So first of all, what it does in terms of society is that the more money there is, So this is in terms of people shopping and contributing to the fast fashion sector. The more money there is, the more opportunities. Okay, and also vice versa. So with fast fashion, as it's a booming sector, as it's a so as fast fashion is a booming sector, it's continuously growing. There's a lot more money being pumped into it, and if there's more money being pumped into it, there's more opportunities. So in terms of opportunities, this is for the locals. Okay, so for the local people, there's more opportunities, career progression, and for the consumers, so that's for people like you and I, most likely, consumers, it allows us to have a greater variety of choice. Okay, so for example, you've got ASOS, you've got Boohoo, etc. So the fact that people are shopping more often on fast fashion companies, it allows us to all have more options. And if we have more options, I'm sure for all of us, that is better, because you have a wider selection of clothes to choose from for your day-to-day of clothing. So this is just a sort of simple or easy way to plan your question for question 5 using MESS. So MESS is an acronym, and to be fair, you can use it for any question 5 for language paper 2. It's something that I also use when teaching question 5. So the next thing I wanted to look at, again, this was the plan. So we've covered the timings, we've covered the plan. Another area I did want to touch on, so if I just get rid of this very quickly. So in terms of the question, so we've covered the timings, we've covered the plan. We need to look at the form of text we're writing. So we are writing an article. So when writing an article, there are certain things you need to include. So the first thing you need to include is, of course, a title. So whenever you're writing an article, you need a title which is alliterative and maybe possibly using a pun. So that's something for you to consider. The second part of an article you need to include is a strapline. A strapline is 2 to 3 sentences that will summarize what your article will be about. So it's essentially like a trailer of what your article will be about. And finally, you will have subheadings. So of course your subheadings here will be individuals of titles for each paragraph. So just by reading your subheadings, the examiner will know what that paragraph will be about. So this is the sort of layout for an article. Now remember, for language paper 2, there are 5 forms of text for you to be aware of. So the first and most common one is an article. The second one you may come across is a letter. The third one is a speech. The fourth one is an essay. And the last one is a leaflet. So these are some of the sort of forms of text that may appear, but again, the most common ones in the past papers have been the article, the letter, and the speech. So as this is an article you're writing, you should include the following: a title, a strapline, and subheadings. So if you can follow that, that would be great for this question. So that sort of summarizes how you would break down question 5. And in terms of your paragraphs, you would preferably be writing, I would say, within the range of 4 to 6 paragraphs. And remember, it's about the quality of your paragraphs. So focus on the quality over the quantity. And again, for question 5, you have to make sure you're using accurate spelling, a wide variety of punctuation, and accurate grammar. Alongside that, you need to make sure you're using a variety of language techniques and you structure your response in a coherent manner. So again, these are some just generic tips for you to consider when attempting question 5. And that takes us towards the end of the video. We will be doing a series, a playlist with a walkthrough of the exam, individual questions step by step. But again, this is just a breakdown of how to plan for question 5 and some tips in regards to the timings as well. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like and share for more education related videos. Thank you.